Excited to be here today and looking forward to, have a great discussion. So quickly, how UX measurement wins over executive. Just, excuse me, a little bit about me. So I have 20 years of experience in UX and CX, and CX, of course, UX research. And I now work for user testing as a consultant. But prior to that, I worked for Citi and established a UX research of excellence at Citi. Started with $35,000 budget and ended up with 3 million. Started as the only researcher on the team, and then built a team of 13 researchers. And then we started as a North America only region for research, and we ended up going global, and that's within 5 years. So you will see a little bit later how we ended up doing that at Citi. Some of the challenges UX is facing in enterprise, as you all know, is really UX getting a seat in the table and getting executive buy-in, in doing research across the product development life cycle, of course. So there's many reasons for why we don't have executive buy-in, or why executives struggle to see the value of UX. They focus on immediate ROI, short-term focus, cost concern, especially these days. Everybody is like concerned a little bit about budget and tightening up the belt a little bit. Lack of awareness and perhaps ineffective communication from UX professionals about the value that they bring to the organization and how that impact the business metrics. So how do we actually bridge the gap, as UX wants a seat on the table and the executives want KPI to measure against? We all know that what can't be measured cannot be managed, right? So how do we confidently say that the design is performing as designed, and it's actually impacting the business KPIs? And I believe that's how we bridge the gap. McKinsey had ran massive analysis that made convincing case that digital leaders are creating much more shareholder value than the laggard. You can see that in digital services, the gap between leaders and laggards has remained constant. The reason is that it's relatively straightforward to create an app, and new feature is quickly seen and copied. However, that mobile app must perform well. It's actually a table stake these days. Digital sales, however, is much more revealing indicator. Here, leaders are almost double their advantage over laggards over the 5 years period. The analysis showed that digital leaders grow digital sales from 40% to 70%, while digital laggards grew from 8 to 17%. So digital leaders drive growth and profitability. The reason for the large differentiator is that to drive digital sales, leading banks, for example, go well beyond the mobile app to digital transformation. What's hard to see and hard to copy, the end-to-end process from originating to fulfillment services. To do this, they must orchestrate hundreds of teams capable developing digital and AI innovation these days, right? Day in and day out across all their customer journeys and core businesses processes. Knowing what to do is important, but executing on how to do it and have confidence that it's actually working and performing, and engaging customers as well. So that's really what leaders drive growth. Digital leaders drive growth. Everyone wants to be a software company these days. If you notice, if you're not online, you're not going to survive. So that means launching software feature faster, improving code quality while increasing developer velocity, building world-class user experiences, yay, and freeing up development time for work that has business impact. What are these digital leaders secret sauce. According to McKinsey, there's three hallmarks of high-performing organization in the digital space. They continually test and iterate. They back research through the product development lifecycle and make data-driven decisions with confidence, statistical significance, and they measure the design performance and its impact on the business goal. They conduct user research, develop user personas, and user journeys. They build user-centered product roadmap, and they measure the impact and make data-driven decisions. So setting a North Star and combining qualitative data with quantitative data measure and demonstrate the value and effectiveness of the design. Here's a quick case study. Back in the days when I was at Citi, that was the first to start measuring and measuring the experience and demonstrate business impact. Business wanted to increase the credit card online application submission by 25% and reduce that call volume related to it. And it's all about shifting to digital, right? And the idea was that, hey, the website has been redesigned, the online application for credit card has been redesigned, so we should be able to achieve that goal. Well, we ran a baseline study, right? One task, basically we measure how participants are able to select a credit card. Are they able to complete the task? What was the ease of use? And we realized that those metrics are a little low. Try to look at analytics, try to look at voice of the customer. We didn't know. We ran a qualitative, exactly the same test, qualitative study where we listen to participants as they complete the task. And we find out that comparing the credit card application is really what's not performing very well. And that's why they're not going to submit the online application. And so with that, we were able to go back to the executive and say that this is why we're not going to be able to meet that business goal, and we need to redesign that particular experience. The question was, how do you know that those metrics are good metrics or not? So we ran a competitive study and with the exact same task, and we find out that we, amongst all our competitors, performed the lowest in this. So that convinced executive even more because they have metrics to tie it to. They have competitive metrics to tie it to. And with that, we were able to get their commitment to redesign it. We ran the benchmark again, and we realized that we increased each one of those metrics by 10% at least. And then tracking towards the business goal, we were able to contribute to increasing the online application, credit card application submitted by 22%, and we reduced the call volume by more than 30%. So that was the initial start. And then from there, the CTO will not receive any request for any work unless it meets this threshold of those usability metrics. So across the product development lifecycle, right, company deliver differentiated experience by informing the product at every stage: discovery, design, launch, and measure. Measuring the quality of the experience, mitigating risk, aligning with customers' need, and improve time to market is really crucial to really become a true software company. Let me show you what that may look like. Excuse me. So let's meet Alex. Imagine that Alex is your chief digital officer at Verdi Vogue, and you're the UX design leader. And you know that Alex is a digital, for Verdi Vogue, is a digital native brand renowned for its sustainability, luxury footwear, and accessories. Verdi Vogue is on a mission to make sustainable fashion accessible to their target customer across all channels: web, mobile, in-store, social, and other omni-channel. However, the road to success is paved with challenges. The industry market changes are very quickly. To stay ahead, Alex's product team must be agile, customer focused, and innovative. We all facing that, and I hear that from our customers every day. So that's a big challenge, right? So Alex has two primary goals: deliver differentiated experience, create and positively impact revenue, and build those experiences better, faster, and cheaper than the competition. To do this, Alex has approached customer insight in a number of ways by investing in focus group, market research, A/B testing, session replay, analytic tool, online review, and the list goes on. But on top of that, we all know that those traditional approaches like analytic platform A/B testing, they're really not giving an indication of true customer centricity. Why is it working? Why is it not working? How that differentiate me from the competition? So the only solution that allow Alex to even start to think about managing that experience and making sure that it's aligned with users' need and it's innovative and fast is to actually look at every resources available and realizing there's missing information. There are tons of gaps. In the analytic, it doesn't tell you the why. You look at the survey, there is not much depth of information about customers' need and behavior and attitude. And the list goes on. So what really matter the most here is waste. How do we know that the experience that we're running, it is a good experience, that it's not going to cost a lot of rework and wasted effort or resources, which, as you can see here from the graph, it is massive. And that's not what she wanted to create. So measuring the experience quality, the quality of the experience with a QX score. I mean, of course, you can use any quality experience score, but this is a QX score that is actually plotted as a 100-point index, and it's used to benchmark your experiences as well as those of your competitor over time. So for Alex, she has a standard that before the experience goes live or even moving forward to the next step in the product development lifecycle, she makes sure to use that QX score that her researchers and design leaders agree to at every stage of the development. As you can see, this score is 100, right? But it's also 50% behavioral. How did they do? And the other 50% is attitudinal, what they think about it, how they react to it, what they think will about the experience overall, from an ease of use, look and feel, appearance, as well as will they recommend that experience to friends and family. So before she goes live, she wanted to make sure she hit that 80%, 80 plus score before we go into development. And with that, she'll be able to save on rework and make sure that the experience is relative to its competitor. It helps her identify experience strengths and weaknesses outside of her industry to ultimately inform her roadmap. So as she look at experience and measure the quality, whether it's a prototype or current experience, we wanted to make sure that we know that what to prioritize in the roadmap to improve those weaknesses as well. As you can see from the scorecard here, when you run an NMAR-rated quant study to measure the quality of the experience, you choose tasks that has direct impact to the business KPI. And with that, you'll be able to track with confidence if they completed those tasks successfully. And then you also look at the score for each of the attitudinal measures. So it will tell you right away which tasks need more work and which attitudinal measure that needs improvement. So to recap, measuring quality experience, um, improve the quality with stage gate in product development life cycle, save development costs by validating before development, and improve the customer experience by identifying strengths and weaknesses with confidence, and then stay ahead via competitive benchmarking as a differentiator. With that, you build experience that customer love, boost productivity, and drive more business impact. You get a seat at the table. So now you say, well, how do I start? Quick framework: activate, ignite, and then drive. So how you activate? Um, you really want to identify what matter most to the executive. Talking to executive is pretty clear, that all matter to them is their business KPIs. And then you identify a pilot project that focus on a user journey, and you connect that UX metrics for that project to the business metrics. And then you run the quality score study, qual and quant. You always want to balance the two because you need to know the why. And also know your competitor QX score. As you sit on the table and talk to product and talk to your chief marketing officer, chief product officer, you need to know the weaknesses and strengths. You need to be able to educate them and build trust with that QX score. And it's a measure. So for them, you will have their ear because you're talking about KPIs and how that KPI is impacting their KPI. And then you prioritize the improvement with stakeholder, test and iterate and benchmark until you reach that threshold of 80 plus. And then you visualize and track and share progress regularly as you have QX score for all the digital experiences that you're responsible for. And you continually build on that scorecard and make it visually available and accessible to all across the organization. And then you can tell stories and continue measuring experiences and managing experiences successfully, and have a seat at the table. So why connect your UX metric to business KPI? I talked about that a little bit, but there's a quote here. The one thing that really the business leaders understand are KPIs. So QX score provide that consistent and comparable way to measure UX across studies, product, and business unit, and build consensus across the organization. If you would think about a model, why the experience score has impact to the revenue, it definitely has a direct impact to, if you look, it's like a level 4, right? It's the lowest level. Increase ease of use, increase task success, reduce click path, comprehension, improve user satisfaction. In terms, it has a direct impact on the product specific goals: increase conversion rate, task success rate, increase volume and transaction, reduce abandonment rate. And then with that, you go up to level 2, where those metrics are actually impacting divisional goal metrics in terms of number of new customer, to increase new customer, retaining existing customer, improve brand awareness, increase NPS, and improve customer satisfaction. And with that, as you all know, those divisional goals had direct impact on the enterprise financial goals, where revenue of the organization and decreasing costs matter the most. So if you think about it from that perspective, it makes more sense. And we call that the 21st century UX metrics framework. Want to play a quick video from our best customers, American Airlines, that stood up a benchmarking program. We're really happy for them. Our colleague Lucas and Kimberly here.
At American Airlines, our purpose is really to care for people on life's journey. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're coming up on our 100th birthday at American Airlines in a few years. And with that just becomes a deep-rooted history of lots of industry firsts and lots of innovation.
Even though we're not a digital native company, we're not setting the expectations. The leaders in technology are setting the expectations. And as a really large brand, we have to perform at that level. It's what's expected of us by our customers. We've got folks who are shopping and looking around.
More than the US population visits our website annually.
We adopted user testing in the first place to be able to talk with our customers, to get their feedback on the different prototypes and products that we build. User testing essentially is the medium between us and our customers.
The 4 key areas for us are shopping and booking, managing and being able to change that booking, the day of travel experience holistically, and then the thread across all of those is the advantage.
We use user testing to ensure that we're keeping up with the experiences. QX score essentially takes what customers are doing on the page and pairs that with their attitudes. And what QX score then does is combines those two to create a composite score that we could then take to leadership and show the quality of an experience. For the digital experiences we've measured with QX score, after going back and making changes, we were able to achieve an on average 15% increase in QX score. When we went back and changed the concepts, we were able to achieve a 37% increase across the board for all of those tasks.
We've been able to test our early prototypes or the website or the app or even real life experiences that our customers go through. For example, interacting with the kiosk at the airport.
This is taking a human on a literal customer journey and being able to talk to humans and talk to customers along the way as we design this experience, whether that's digital or hard product, is critical.
Travel can be complicated, and there's lots of emotion that goes along with travel. What we can do at American Airlines is make it the easiest for our customers to engage with. User testing gives us the human insight that we need to ensure that we're truly meeting our customer needs.
All right, so now you got a seat on the table. Quickly, some stories from other customers as well, like Kimberly Clark. When they stood up the measurement program, they were able to drive prioritization and demonstrate progress. And also Kroger, same thing. They were able to know that they're building the right solution because now they have a seat on the table and they're able to conduct UX research at the discovery stage. Don't we all want to do that? And then Adobe, they actually embedded the UX metrics in the performance reviews of the UX team and the product team. So won't play those videos. They're all available on Vimeo. So I will open up to questions, and thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Rima. That was really interesting, particularly how you can kind of convert that qualitative aspect into a more quantitative metric that a lot of senior executives are looking for.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Excellent. So if anybody has any questions out there, please do post them in. So Jose has asked about the slides and the recording. So yes, we will be publishing the recording. And Rima, if you're happy to share the slides, we can post that with them as well.
Sure.
But if anybody has any other questions, please do ask them. I'm going to jump in with one. I think that's incredibly powerful to have that QX score, but it feels to me like there's a step before that where you need to get the buy-in before you even have the data to show how important the buy-in is. And particularly in like some of those examples that you gave, American Airlines, Kroger, they're what you would call traditional businesses. They're not digital native businesses. So how do you go about convincing them on step one, how to invest the first place before you can get your QX score?
Great question. I think it really requires someone to take this on as its own initiative and take one for the team, take a risk. as what I did at City, it's not easy. It's like taking a side project and take it to the next level, without asking for permission. We all in an enterprise organization, we have access to tools, right? Like user testing and user Zoom and Validate another. So even Maze, other tool that will be able to kind of help you run those baseline to kind of find out what is going on and measure the quality of that experience so that you are more informed and you have the quant data that matter to the executive, and you have the why data to show them that you know the root cause of the problem, and how if you really attach those metrics to their KPI to show them how that directly impact their KPI, they will listen because they want to, they want to know what is going to impact their business KPIs. And if you have numbers and you have quant data and the why, you'll be able to convince them.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's always the challenge, but take that first initiative and use the tools that you currently have to try build the case.
Yeah, it requires tenacity and passion for sure.
Excellent. That actually brings us to time, but if anybody has any questions, please do post them in and we'll get those questions to Rima. We have a Slack channel as well, so please feel free to keep posting. But thank you once again to Rima for sharing that case study. I found it really insightful and I hope everybody out there did as well.
Thank you.